Hey, checking in with the awkward black man, number 13, track number 13, the black woman in the Chinese hat, where a guy is out in, it's like, I think it's New York again, could be Chicago. No, it's New York because they go to Staten Island, and he comes across people sunbathing, and it's like, oh, there's sexy women in bikinis, or people in things, some of them who looked good. And we find out later he is an overweight guy himself. He's only had one girlfriend, and this woman motions him over and asks him to and she's the only black woman there in a sexy outfit that he describes. And she says, that kind of shows more than it actually does, or it looks like it shows more than it actually does, because she's got a leotard. It's very artfully or cunningly done. And she gets him to watch his spot for him. And he happens to glance over, and there's this couple, and he's got his hand under the towel of the woman and making her feel really good. He kind of is staring, and the guy's like, "Why are you staring?" And he kind of turns away, and he's like, "Oh God, I should have a knife. I should have something." And someone puts a hand on him, and he just basically falls over, and he bumps into someone else. But it's just this woman in the Chinese hat, whose name, of course, now Lenora, completely escaped. I think it might be Lenora. And she says, "Oh, it's okay, it's me." And she says, he asks, it's like, "Oh, would you like to go for do you have air conditioning? It'd be sure nice to have air conditioning on a hot day like this." It's like, "Oh, do you have air conditioning?" She asks him. It's like, "No, I don't. But there's this restaurant we can go to." And they go to it. And, the guy tries to deny him service because she's in a bikini, but she pulls out a wrap. And they get in, and they chat. And it turns out that she's got two boyfriends, both strong men. One's a cop, one's an ex-con. But she doesn't tell them about each other. She says, "I have multiple lovers." And, it's like, "Oh, well, you want to get like a cab and go somewhere." It's like, "I don't have any money left. I've got enough, like a couple of tokens." It's like, "Oh, well," and she says, "Okay, well, let's go on." It says they go on Staten Island ferry. And they're sitting on the deck, and I guess she puts her hand on his lap, on his erection, and they make out, and he comes in his pants, and they kind of nod and sleep, and that's sort of the end of the day. And she says, like, "Oh, where she lives." It's like, "Oh, I don't have a number that I can kind of give you, but you give me your number, and you can tell me how your diet's going," because he's determined to have a diet. And that's the end of the story. And it's like, okay, it's just sort of this little encounter of this, yes, again, another kind of awkward black man. This one definitely on the geekier, awkwarder side of things. He doesn't have much experience with women. It's very much still kind of focused on that, which, I mean, it's a sex drive. It's a male sex drive thing. Is she just someone who kind of used him for the day and then is just never going to call him again, and that's going to be it? I don't know. You can have inclinations on stuff like this. She's someone who does fashion stuff, but now, or was doing fashion stuff. I can't remember. And he's somebody who's like, he's just gotten a promotion, so he's going to get more money, but he hasn't gotten it yet because he just got his promotion. Had been just kind of doing kind of like he was the office gopher, but now he's got a promotion up. So maybe he's going somewhere. She's doing an investment there, but he's going to be like one of her many lovers that she might use. She a user? She feels kind of like a user. Gives him his thrill without actually taking off any clothes, and he's more than grateful for it. So maybe it's a transaction that was fairly good there. Dinner and ride on the ferry, and she seems to be fine, had been fine with that. So yeah, interesting story that way, I guess. Again, awkward.